Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're looking at the 1953 United States quarters. Do not sell your 53 quarters for melt value until you watch this video if you can help it. There's a number of things that you can find out about the 1953 quarters that makes them worth a lot more money than standard melt value. They only made about 90 million of them, so that these coins have some inherent value even if they're not in great shape. And if they are in great shape, they have some incredible values. They also have a bunch of different era coins for the 1953 quarter. They have some that are stamped on nickel planchets, some stamped on dime planchets. They have some that have double die obverses on them, and they have some that have been stamped twice. So we'll take a look at those and we'll talk about the different values. Now, if you want to know the mint marks of the 1953 coins, you can't look on the front. There's no mint marks on the front of quarters in 1953 for any of the mints. What you have to do is flip them over to the back, and then if you do that, you'll see that there are three mints here. And the mint mark will be right here underneath the olive branch, which is below the eagle. So a blank one there means it's Philadelphia. A D there means it's Denver. And an S there means it is the San Francisco Mint. Now this one's a little weird right here, and we do have some D over S mint marks, but I don't believe this is one. I believe this just got a little bit worn out. The San Francisco Mint in 1953 was not the proof coin mint. The proof coins in 53 came from the Philadelphia Mint. Now normally I would say to you, when you look at these, if you ever get a coin that looks like this, be careful thinking it's a regular circulating. When we flip this one over, we see that it is no mint mark on the back. We see that there is really great detail on the back of this coin, but this is probably not a proof coin, because they only made 128,000. If you do have a proof coin, it's worth lots of money. So make sure you do check if you have a good looking coin, whether it's a proof coin or not. Because if this coin was a proof coin, this could be worth in the hundreds of dollars. But if this coin is a regular Philadelphia coin at a mint state 65, which this might very well be, it's worth about $30. So always check if you get a really nice one, to make sure it's not a proof coin, because for 1953, the proof coin would be worth more. Now this one also looks a little proofy. Certainly not a deep cameo proof, but on this one, when we flip it over, we see that it's not a proof coin. It's a San Francisco Mint coin. We do have some feathers on there, some pretty good ones. The San Francisco Mint, they made 14 million of the regular circulating coins, and this one again is probably worth somewhere around $30 at a mint state 65. But if you can get this up to a mint state 68, it's worth $5,000. So always do check through them. What about the sale value? Well, these could be worth, $15 or more in melt value alone. So some of them, I mean, if you have some that are worn out like this, I'd say melt value is going to be worth a lot more than any kind of collector's value for a worn out San Francisco like this, unless it somehow turns out to be an error coin. And even an error coin in this shape isn't going to be great. It'd be pretty hard to tell whether this was a D over an S or anything over the S, because it's so beat down. For the Denver Mint, they made 56 million. Denver was the mint that made the most coins in 1953. If you get this in a mint state 65, it could be worth $32. But if you can get this in a mint state 68, which they've only found two ever, it's worth $21,500. And finally, for the regular coins, the Philadelphia Mint coin, if you can get this in a mint state 65, it's worth $30, but at a mint state 68, over $3,000. Now, if you do have a 1953 quarter and it looks like this, it's going to be really hard to believe that it has any value. But watch this. We move it out a little bit, and you see down there at the bottom, 1953, PCGS graded this as MS67+. There's a few signs you can see. One is the incredible detail in the nose and the mouth and the eyes there. The other is all the different levels that you can see around the ear here, and a third one is going to be you can see some of the feathers in the chest. Now, if in order to actually know that it is of value, you're going to have PCGS grade it, or you're going to have a special microscope or way to look at it to determine the value. And so if you found one like this, you probably wouldn't send it into PCGS just because you wouldn't know enough to. If you did send it into PCGS, what would it be worth? Well, this one here from their website sold for $4,500. And so when you look at these, and you can see some of the other expensive ones up here, lots of colors in those too. Bring it to an expert or somebody that can kind of look at it, because you're probably not going to be able to tell with a magnifying glass, or maybe even yourself with a microscope. There are also a bunch of error coins that we talked about earlier. So let's take a look at some of those error coins. Now this is just a weird one from the Heritage Auctions website, and you can see it sold for $2,760. It says it's a Washington 1953 quarter struck on a 1953 S Jefferson nickel, and you can actually see a little bit of Monticello there, and it's really hard to tell that this is struck on a nickel by looking at it, but you see that this one was actually graded by Annex. I don't know if you can see the Annex up there. It's a 1953 25 cent on a 1953 S 5 cent. This one, you can tell there's something wrong with it right up front. You're not going to mistake this for a coin of any kind, and it probably didn't get too far from the mint. Probably somebody at the mint stuck it in their pocket, or somebody got it out of the trash in the old days from the mint somehow before it was melted down. This is a 1953 S double struck. The second strike is 75% off center, and if you go over here you can see PCGS grade is Mint State 63, and there's the back of it. Just kind of an interesting coin. Just kind of an interesting coin mostly, and you see it sold for $1,057.50. This one here is a 25 cent on a 10 cent Planchet, but again $1,495. This one is another one. This is an NGC one. It's a mint error struck on a 10 cent thickness Planchet, and this one is 5 grams. So if you get one, if you find a quarter that is 5 grams and you stick it up next to another quarter and it looks like it's not as thick, you might have one of these, and this one sold for $660. Okay, so we don't have any error coins here, but if you do have one, make sure you have somebody take a look at it, and make sure that you look at your coins before you sell them for melt value, because they could be worth $30 to hundreds of dollars, and maybe even thousands of dollars if you get really lucky. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and post any comments you have in the comment section.